we picked up a zillion listeners because we shortened it up. We gave them less. That's what I think.
That's what you do think. March Madness is going on. So we have been watching the first 2 games of the Sweet 16 round. And Jim's happy for one game.
Tennessee. So we recorded an episode. The full chronology of the evening is that we went to our sponsor, the corporate offices at Newt's, enjoyed a lovely burger each. And we missed Sarah. Sarah's on vacation. Beth, the capable and personable Beth, was our bartender tonight.
Yes.
And it was good. We'll get more on that later. Then we recorded an episode. And then because I have to miss next week because I'm getting a colonoscopy, and they say you can't drink within 24 hours of the procedure, and I just don't want to talk to you people unless I can have a beer. So we're going to take next weekend off, so we thought we would record another episode. After watching the conclusion of one close game. No, one close game and one not. Michigan State was close, but the other one was a bit of a laugher. And I'm not really into college. I'm not into sports generally because Mark wanted this to be a sports podcast, but I asked the internet to give me a medium risk NCAA bracket, and I followed that to just about the T. I changed the score on one game in the first round, and that was a mistake. But anyway, all my Final Four teams are still alive.
Mine also.
And I'm the only guy in my 30-team bracket that has Tennessee in the Final Four. Actually, there's one other person, but they have Tennessee winning it all. That's not going to happen. So
you never know.
If Tennessee wins it all, I'm sunk. But if Tennessee gets in and Florida wins, Florida's got to win. Did you pick Florida in yours?
Duke?
It's a very pretentious name. Earl is involved. Sandwich. Which one? Got to be more specific. Can't just say Duke. Can you?
You can. We should introduce ourselves, maybe. We don't have to.
Would it help if you didn't know us? Let's try one anonymous. Hi, we're TheAscertainers. You don't know who we are, but we don't know who you are. Let's face it. Except we do know Pat K emailed recently, even though I haven't seen his email yet because I'm playing hard to get. I only learned about it about an hour ago. And I like to focus just on us, not my phone. So
we've been begging people to email us.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's stay with it.
Sorry.
Act disinterested. Sorry. That's how it's like Dumb and Dumber. We're just over here putting out the vibe. So we don't care if you email us. I mean, for all I care, don't. They'll start piling up, buddy. It's called marketing. Dumbass.
Good call. Good call.
All right. Well.
Hi, I'm Mark.
I'm Jim. We just said we're going to be anonymous. That was the whole point of this episode, to see if it would help.
There's a lot of Marks out there.
See? I'm Mark. I'm Mark 2. That's Mark 4. Lincoln. Wasn't that a thing? The Lincoln Mark 4? Did they have Mark 2 and Mark 3?
Went all the way up to 8 before they...
The Mark 8?
Yep.
I'll just stick to the New Testament where there was just one Mark. Thank you very much. But, couple of Timothys. What's up with that?
Did Timothy ever get a car?
Did you ever? You know what? I feel like he did. He got a replacements album. Tim, you wouldn't know about that because you don't like good music. But, anyway, what's up with some of the books in the Bible, which is one of my favorite books ever. It's there's 2nd Chronicles, 2nd Timothy, a couple other things. It's why don't you just give it his own fucking name? Because there could be 34 Mark, Luke's, Matthews, and another guy, Paul. Because they get mentioned all over the place.
But only one Mark.
Is that your name?
Yeah.
That's weird. Because my name is Scott Peter Jingleheimer Schmidt.
I'm sorry, I'm Rumpelstiltskin.
How is Scott not a... You ever seen an old guy named Scott? growing up, old guys all had old guy names. Old guy gals say, "Oh, who's that? What's great grandpa Scott?" It would be Irving or Herman or.
I met a young person whose name was Sterling. When's the last time you heard a Sterling?
I have a question.
Yes.
The only Sterling I know is Sterling Sharp, and that is a very confident name to give a child. May I ask the ethnicity of Sterling? Was he a white kid?
White kid.
Named Sterling.
I don't know.
That's a bold choice there, Cotton.
Do I ask him if he's named after somebody? Would that be rude?
No. I think a name is a great conversation starter. And to say that is a unique name, and I like it.
I do too.
So you would have to start with that. You can't say, like, I hate your name. Why do you have it? You would say, I get fascinated by your name. Can you tell me the backstory behind that? Or was it just, are you named after like a relative?
We've seen each other in the same gym for 2 years.
Okay.
And he comes up to me and he goes, you know what? We see each other all the time. We should at least introduce ourselves.
I like his style already.
I do too.
That's the kind of guy that can carry the name Sterling very well.
He is. And he talks to everybody
but
in there.
Because of that introduction, then I think that you have the license to say, hey, man, I've known you for technically 2 years, only by name for however many months, weeks, days. Tell me about Sterling. Do you have siblings?
Well, there'll be an update.
Are their names Scott and Craig? And you got Sterling? I mean, how do you slip that one in?
Well, his brother's name is Silver.
You're fucking with me.
I am, yes.
As you say. Well, but there's Peerless Price. Remember him? He played in the NFL. And Sterling Sharp. It's like, what is Peerless's brother's name? Like even if his name was like brilliant, Peerless, that means without peer. It's a tough one, man. You better be good at whatever the fuck you choose to do. I mean, but then again, maybe what if he decided to max out his vocation as a dishwasher? You better at least be the best dishwasher, like the best. Peerless. Otherwise, you're going to have a bunch of peers, and then your name should just be...
Well, I think I've lived up to my name.
I don't know what Jim is worth as far as if I've lived up to Jim. Probably. I go to one. You go to one.
Are you named Jim or James?
My name on my birth certificate is James, and I can't say my middle name. It's Danger. Okay, I'm embarrassed.
This isn't mine.
Danger's my middle name.
How'd that get in there?
Oh, is that from Goldmember? No, actually it's not. It's
the
from
original. The first
Austin Powers International Man of Mystery.
Yes.
What's the second one called then?
I don't know.
That's a great question. And then Goldmember was the third and final.
The second one was good, but not great.
Good enough, though.
Good enough.
Like better than some firsts.
Yes.
Myers made some movies that were kind of that didn't live up to the Austin Powers franchise, but still are super entertaining. I'm thinking of The Love Guru, which I don't really think was...
I didn't care for that one. So I Married the Axe Murderer was great to me.
Fantastic. How about... I can't even think of the name of it. The one where it was a stewardess movie with Gwyneth Paltrow, and he was like he trained the stewardesses.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh, you would love it as a former airline industry fella.
But I don't like my industry to be made fun of. I'm kidding.
So you hate the news then? Oh my! A couple of bad breaks, which we can blame on one person, which is convenient. But anyhow, yeah, I'll look it up. It's not a movie I would go like seek out, but if you were like, I don't know, having recovering from a major surgery, it would be one you would maybe want to pop on.
You know when they're playing hockey in the street in Wayne's World?
Yeah.
A car.
Game on. Yeah.
Do you remember doing that when you were playing stickball in the street?
Yeah, we didn't do the game on, but car was always we had, so where I grew up, Rochester, Minnesota, there was a period of time where Rochester, like high school hockey was a thing. They won a state tournament. They also placed second a couple years later. But a few of those kids that were on that team, like we grew up with, like, you know, within the like 3-block radius where we would have street hockey games. And to think about the level of talent on those street hockey games that we were just, I mean, there was all levels, right? It was a total, back when kids were just kids, even though you knew some were way better, but they would still associate with the chumps, right? I consider myself in the chump. I was little and I was youngest, but yeah, anyway, but yeah, it was car.
We never played street hockey. We always played baseball. But you had the
sewer.
The grate would be like first base.
Okay.
And then the manhole would be second base.
I bet you played that. I mean, you were great at that. It's
no,
like,
but you
Mark,
just...
there's lightning out. Ah, we can still play.
You used parts of the street so you didn't have to have bases.
Yeah. Stick at that manhole.
We never played stickball.
What base was the manhole?
Second base. Because it's in the middle of the street.
She had a lot of doubles? Throwing it out there. I don't know.
Let it go.
You seem like a kind of a guy that would hit a lot of doubles. There was a thing in a backyard up the street. I can't say whose house it was. But then Ange moved into that house when my buddy Ange, when they moved in. But before they were there, it was like a old abandoned where the laundry pole would go, like for the clothesline. So it was just a little concrete.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
The concrete was very buried, but the pipe like was flush with the ground, right? And we would just like put shit. It was called the poop hole. That's the level of intellect we were dealing with back then. Well, we would put army men in there. We would just jam shit in there just to kind of like make it go away or whatever. Anyway, that was home plate when we played kickball. And the one great slide I had, it was rainy. It was like the grass was wet, so you could slide and you could just, anyway, I
hit that.
For some reason, I hit it with my knee and I just gashed it, right? And it's on the knee. So when you're sitting down and you look at your knee and your knee's bent, it's like, oh yeah, that's clear. It looked like a mouth. I mean, it was bad. And I remember running home, but I was like limp running, you know, the thing where you've been shot. And there's like 4 other kids kind of sympathy limping with me. So it looked like the Thriller video in a way, where we were all kind of simultaneously, they were either mocking me or supporting me. I couldn't tell. Either way, I had to get that stitched up. And it's still like the gnarliest scar on my knee because of the way because it's, you know, it's a knee. You're a kid. It popping them stitches left and right.
So I grew up on a hill.
Oh, must be nice.
And in the winter,
I know you grew up not as a brand name wearing, not a Levi's wearer.
No. In the winter, we would sled in the backyard. Well, we stopped doing it after a while because the neighbors below us on the hill, they put up a fence. And in the old days, the fence had the sharp bottoms.
Oh, like a chain link fence?
Yes.
But the bottom was exposed, not in the ground?
Correct.
So no bottom rail.
No bottom rail, and we would pour water on our trail.
Oh, would you get stuck under it?
Yeah, oh, you'd slide down right underneath there, and you just get the crap ripped out of you.
Oh, God, dang.
Well, we did bend them up after a while, but the first couple of people had to pay the price.
No good. I also, one time, you see this little line on my eyebrow? We were playing, it was Super Bowl Sunday, I remember it. My dad had to miss the Vikings Super Bowl to take me to the goddamn emergency room.
Well, they lost, so I don't think he cares.
I think it was a Miami one. But anyway, yeah, that was fun.
Larry Zonka, MVP.
I remember. So I thought I got stepped on, but it turns out it was just bone on bone, right? I either hit on the ice or someone's knee or something like that. And we just split it right open. But I remember going home and looking on we had a stove. The way our stove was, you could, like the end of it was exposed and it had like the chrome on the, whatever, where the timer was and shit. And I get up real close to that. And I'm like going, like it didn't hurt as
Right.
much as it should, but it bled like crazy. And I'm kind of doing like with my two fingers here, one above it, one below it, kind of like making it talk or whatever. My mom was not impressed by that. She was very like, leave that alone. Don't put any army men in that.
We were jumping on the bed as a little kid. I swear my sister pushed me, but she denies that to this day. But somehow...
Which one? You don't got to say her name, but what letters does it start with?
R.
Oh, R. Okay. Well, I hope R doesn't listen and is not friends with our T-shirt maker. By the way, we should shout them out. We'll do that later.
So unfortunately, I fell into the corner of the dresser or whatever was there.
Ooh.
Right on the top of my head. I split it pretty good. A lot of blood.
Yeah.
And my dad was at work and my mom had to call the neighbors and I destroyed the back of their car going to the doctor.
Just like a stuck pig?
Yeah.
The head bleeds.
It does. And I don't remember any of this, but when they were stitching me up, my mom said, no, he was wrong.
Novocaine, schmovocaine?
Yes, stitch it up. He needs to learn a lesson.
Oh my God. What? And you got pushed off?
But she denies that to this day.
So you dove into the...
Yes, on my own.
I've known you. I can see that. Good God, man. Did you dent the car at the same time? Break a window with the neighbors? Steal a car and go to Las Vegas?
But it was
the Gigolo too. Sorry, that was Billy Idol. I was mixing you up with Eyes Without a Face.
The mom curse. Whenever they say, if you do that, this is going to happen. When you're a little kid, it always happens.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You shouldn't think it. Your mom shouldn't say that shit. If you do that, you go blind. You ever seen me read a magazine? It's not pretty. Or a menu.
I remember.
That's why I order the same thing every time I can't read because my eyes are shut.
Don't play baseball in front of that window. Well, the window's way up here. Nothing's going to happen. First pitch. Gone. Wait till your dad gets home. You're in trouble.
I never broke a window. Broke a door once. That was a proud moment.
How'd you break the door?
I punched it. It wasn't my house. It was at my buddy Tom B's house. And my buddy Ange was in the bathroom and I was having a bit of a impulse control moment, and might have been some beer involved. And I will say it was a thin door. It was like a hollow door. And because I was no like physical force or anything like that, but as soon as it happened, I'm just like, oh my fuck. You can't cover up a hole in a door. So I remember going back the next day and I had to talk to his dad and say, I will pay for the door and sorry and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's like, oh, it hurt even worse because I really felt I had if I didn't feel bad, that would be psychotic or sociopathic because it was like, well, dude, I didn't have to do it. It wasn't like I did it because I was trying to improve society. I was being an idiot, and I'll say it's the last door I broke, so maybe it was an effective technique.
You learned from it.
I sure did. Well, I learned not to punch a hole in a door again. I didn't learn everything, but, I didn't repeat. I didn't do it again, so that's good. Kind of feeling the itch. Let's go to your house. You got solid doors, so I need a hollow door. I don't think I got the knockdown power. What do you call that with a pistol round? What do they call that? When it hits, is it knockdown power? It can't be that.
I know what you're talking about, but it can't.
Well, we're not that kind of podcast.
About
anyway,
4 beers ago, I might come up with it. Where were we tonight?
I believe it's pronounced Newt's. I could be wrong. I've been saying it that way for 2 full years now. Although they haven't been our sponsor the whole time, it feels like it. But we were born at Newt's. The Ascertainers concept was born without boiling water or bed sheets or nothing at the back booth of Newt's. MJ was our waiter, Kris server.
I would say that it was born through pitchers of beer.
We had a few pitchers of beer. Our buddy Todd was with us, and that's where it was launched. And then that's where we just go to pregame. But Newt's is Apple Valley, Minnesota's finest burger. You're looking away. The team.
I was looking at the game. Sorry.
So, well, this is Jim, Corey. I'm interested in the Newt's promo.
I am also.
Anyway, Newt's is if you want a burger, if you want a chicken sandwich, if you want wings, if you want a quesadilla, if you want hot buttered, it's not really butter, but fresh popcorn. If you want to play some pull tabs, if you want some ice cold beer or mixed drinks, or non-alcoholic fare, they got it all. I'd say their ketchup is about average. I don't want to sound like a total whore, but I will say that I love everything else about Newt's. The ketchup, take it or leave it. But I tonight had the San Diego Smash Burger. Well, coleslaw. With coleslaw instead of fries, but the fries are delish. The tots are even better.
I do enjoy the onion rings if you want to spice it up a little bit.
Look at that. You got options, kids. Or you can sub a salad.
What?
If you want to get made fun of, I guess. I don't know. I would never do that. But anyway, yeah. So Newt's, we love it. They like us. We love them. And that's good enough for the Ascertainers.
Once the NCAA games came on, it filled up pretty quick.
People just delayed their departure because they wanted to be there for the games. Newt's does a good business, which makes me very happy because there's nothing worse than having a place you really like and they're just kind of barely hanging on for dear life. There's a bunch of Newt's. There's Newt's is in Rochester in a couple of locations, and then they came up to Apple Valley 3 years ago, whatever. Probably more than 3 years ago. Yum. It's good. Is it the best burger you're ever going to eat? You'll probably find better, but it's got the mix of great burgers and the ambiance and the clientele and the vibe. You'll love it. Just go there and tell them the Ascertainers sent you, and they'll go, who? No. A couple people will know.
We ended up talking to a lot of people. Our golf course closed.
Oh, we talked to your guy. Was it Dave?
John.
What's his name? John. Yeah. Yeah, the local golf course got bought by a company that's going to put up a data center, which is just a great little local, everyone's losing their minds over it. But what sucks for the Ascertainers is that we got to find a new place to golf.
Well, it sucks that it's not going to be finalized for another year, so we could have had another year of playing.
Even though, I knew that was our last time there, and I still think about that course. So it's like kind of a... Anyway, I think that finding new golf courses is more stressful than I thought it would be.
It was such a easy golf course that I still play poorly on, but it was fun.
It was not a premier course, which meant that it was easy to get onto. It wasn't crowded and pretty cheap to play. And
people were so laid back there.
Right. Yeah, it was not an uptight play. It was like the least uptight golf course I've ever been at.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So now we're gonna have to go to places where we gotta dress nice and stuff. And thinking about quitting the game. I'm not that dedicated of a golfer. I don't think I can hang out with those folks. So you're going to Newt's. Thank you. Appreciate it. Next, we got the radio game. We don't know. This episode will probably not be aired when it was recorded, because this is what we call an extra. So in case Mark goes missing or something, or Jim does, we'll just kind of grab this one off the shelf. So anyway, our local radio station that we've designed the radio game around is KQRS. You getting on, Mark?
No.
Oh, it totally looked like you were doing the stifled yawn where you're like a ventriloquist, a shitty ventriloquist where your lips kind of stay together, but the rest of your body is yawning.
No, I just zone out once in a while.
I get it, man. Totally. Anyway, the radio game is designed after the local radio station KQRS, KQ92.5, and your FM dial in the Minneapolis St. Paul market, Minnesota. So Mark and I typically will pick four bands, two of which are pretty mainstream, and two are maybe a little less known. But then after we've each made our picks, we put we bought a little transistor radio thing with the earbud because we don't want to get sued. We'll then listen in to see what's playing on KQ at the time. And if one of us matches, there is $97. I'll put two in the jug.
Oh, I'll get it.
That's up for grabs. and that's fun. So if KQ goes off the air, or they're going to change formats, that's what's going on. They're currently under construction, as they call it, and they haven't said what's going to happen after. But did they shit can all the DJs yet, or just
They did.
Okay, so yeah, hopefully it'll be more of an album-oriented rock, because it's classic rock right now, but it's all the standards. You rarely hear a song like, oh hell yeah.
There's no deep cuts.
I hear you. Yeah, it's hits. It's classic rock hits. If KQ were to go to some other format that wouldn't be like a classic rock format, we have another station in mind. And tonight, Mark played that. It's like a more of a small market close to where we live, Southern Minnesota, a rock station. And he's like, "Oh, let's see what's playing on it right now." And it was "The Man Who Sold the World" by David Bowie, which is, I would love if KQ played that kind of stuff, but they just don't. They would play Let's Dance, or they would play maybe Starman, whatever the hell's off Ziggy Stardust. But anyway, so this could be like a voice from the grave.
Wow.
Like KQ might be dead by now. And so, Mark, why don't you go first? Why don't you tell me your first couple bands? I'll throw in two, and then we'll...
Dire Straits, Doobie Brothers.
No theme.
No theme because it's the second episode and didn't put much.
You don't got the energy for that?
I don't.
I feel so bad for you. All right, so I'm going to go with Boston and The Who. I think it's going to be The Who. I have a strong feeling. And I think it's going to be Baba O'Reilly. But you go.
Badleys and Groove Armada.
What? Badleys I get.
Groove Armada. Hands of Time.
Terrific. I'm going to go with George Thorogood. I'm going with Thin Lizzy, even though it's not really much of a long shot. But I just want to win. It's all about winning, Mark. It's like...
Well, if KQ goes away...
Yeah, this could be... I'm putting the earbud in my ear. I think it's a song. It's a guy that we both picked. And the Heartbreakers. Running Down a Dream, Tom Petty.
She's a Woman in Love was going to be one of my picks on the previous episode.
Well, how about that? So why don't you just take the money? That's good enough for me, pal.
Because I did listen to that today on Napster.
Did you lower the blinds or lock the door behind you? That's a weird thing to say. So you listen to She's a Woman in Love.
While I was running
away from your... Can't run away from that, Mark. You can't wash it off. You can't run away from it. So you were born like that, okay?
Is the Family Guy where they were talking about Tom Cruise running all the time? You can't run away from...
Yeah, I think that that could be. Also, I have to play you I said I would play between episodes the Quentin Tarantino breakdown of Top Gun, which I think you'll find
amusing.
Yes, that's a perfect word for that. I have something for my Rochester people. I grew up in Rochester, Minnesota, the formerly #1 place in the country to live, and now it's just turned into a whatever. We're not political, but I never had a house key growing up because the house was never locked. It was
I think that went with the times, not the area. Maybe.
Okay, well, I'll say this. I read a headline some guy macheted somebody in a parking garage on a couple weeks ago. St. Patrick's Day. That's what it was, a couple weeks ago. And it's like, oh, that's the second macheting that guy had done. And the one previous was he broke into a home on Elton Hills Drive and macheted a guy. That's where I grew up, was on Elton Hills Drive.
Oh.
So it's like, okay, it's like a 2-mile long strip, but still, it's like, geez, Louise, kids. Anyhow, so back in the kinder, gentler days of Rochester, when I was growing up, there was a guy, a stereo place. You could go to like, Sound World or Audio King or whatever. But then they also had this guy, Hi-Fi Kenny. And Hi-Fi Kenny's apparently was in other Minnesota cities and Wisconsin cities and perhaps Illinois, based on the commercial that we listened to. But Hi-Fi Kenny was basically the My Pillow guy before Mike Lindell invented the pillow. So this is before there were pillows. You got to understand this.
Hi-Fi Kenny's been mentioned on previous episodes.
Yes.
It was mentioned where they weren't giving you...
There weren't a lot of boxes. You were buying... It was like kind of like a mob garage sale. There were shelves. There were, some things were in... There were things in boxes, but they weren't new. It said Pioneer in the box, and it was Jensen when you opened it. So it was some sketchy shit, but it was perfect for back then when you could hook up a car stereo in an hour, a half hour, and roll around with your shitty car speakers that were buzzing because they were from hi-fi. But anyhow,
when you could have got genuine Delco parts, they were owned by GM.
How about the guy with the battery on her show? That was Robert Conrad, wasn't it?
Knock this off.
Were they shitty batteries?
No, they were like Delco. No, not Delco, Duracell or something.
Okay. I think it was Duracell. No, it wasn't, because Duracell came around later.
Eveready.
That was probably it. So, here's the thing. With Hi-Fi Kenny and the My Pillow guy, I think he's getting to the end of it. Because now he's selling My Cross. Did we talk about that yet?
I think so.
Because he's always had this cross that was awkwardly hanging out of his shirt. And it was like, oh, make sure everybody can see my cross, because I must be a good guy. I mean, I'm a Christian, and it's bad for me to speak ill of a guy who's probably also a Christian, but I don't literally make sure everyone can see it and make sure they can see it and then sell it.
If he was pitching in baseball, I could see it falling out in that position, but yeah,
it was always at like a 45-degree angle. It was like, hey, Mike, you're making a lot of money selling fucking pillows because you're the inventor, of the pillow. Go ahead and go with a bigger chain, maybe a half-inch longer so it just lays flat on your shirt, not so it sticks out like you're very enthusiastic man of God. But anyway, so he sells this cross, the My Cross is what he calls it. It's in likeness. It's in the likeness of the one he wears, not in the likeness of his Lord and Savior who died on that, but it's the Mike one. I want the Mike one. And also, I heard that the 2025 sheet sets are in. So I think it's
get them while they last.
I think it's going to be a good year. I think, I had some of the 2023s, and I got to be honest, I didn't sleep so good on them. So I think the 25s are going to be. I'm going to roll the dice and say that I'm going to get.
It's like wine.
4 sets. And luckily, when you buy one, you get 4 sets free thrown in because he's a good businessman. Anyway.
The cross, when he goes, you can get it in male and female.
Yeah, there's a female cross.
What does that mean?
It's that little... I can't say it. No. Nope.
Don't care for
that. There's my line. If everybody wondered, does Jim have a line? Yes, he does. And it's right about there.
I really wanted to get into It All Begins With a Song.
Yeah, we started trying to do that. So we'll have that for another episode. I'll watch it again, too, because it's been like a month since I've seen it. And
I do want to bring up Kris Kristoferson was a Renaissance man.
Oh, hell yeah.
My God, he could act.
He could
sing.
Do you remember when I told you about the list for the first time?
Yes.
And I had a probably 80-year-old Kris Kristoferson on the list. What the list was a list of 3 people who would be admitted into my house, and they could have their way with either of the inhabitants of the house, and there'd be no repercussions. And I remember on mine it was I think it was 3 or 4 people, and I only had 1 girl. But Kris Kristoferson was on that list as an 80-year-old man. Like any era. Stars Born Kris Kristoferson. I mean, that's a list of 1. But he was the most charming and well-spoken and good-looking. And boy, he could write songs. And he was a Renaissance man. Maybe that's the most apt description.
I was watching a video. I guess he got together with Cash and Willie Nelson.
They're Highwaymen.
Highwaymen.
Yeah.
And
it was Chris, Johnny, Waylon, and Willie, I think.
But when he was playing and his smile was disarming.
Well, it was doing something. I'll say this. So he wrote Sunday Morning Coming Down. And there's a video I'll post it at the bottom of the show notes here. So whatever, when you see where you got the episode, scroll down, should be a link. By the way, pro tip, if you can't open the links at the bottom of our write-ups, go into your app that you listen to us in and hit force stop. Okay. So apps, and then I think it's like one of the few things you can do. And just the lower right on my little phone, it says force stop, hit that, and then you'll kind of relaunches the app basically.
Okay.
And then you'll be able to kind of click on it. Because we put some kind of fun stuff at the bottom of the episode notes. But it's Johnny Cash and Kris Kristoferson. And Johnny says, hey, Chris, and they're just all polite back then, right? Because that's how society was. And he goes, I wonder if you'd do the honor of singing this song with me that you wrote. And the way Kris Kristoferson reacts to him, and he goes, boy, that might be the biggest honor of my life. And he was so honest. Or maybe he was full of shit, but he sold it really, really well. But Kris Kristoferson, let's do an episode just on him.
In that documentary, Ray Stevens was the first one to do that song. And if you remember Ray Stevens...
Yeah, he said he did it all wrong.
But he was the one who made The Street famous.
For people among others, he had a couple of parody songs.
Yes.
But yeah, he, I think, because what happened is that this movie, It All Begins with a Song, is a documentary about just songwriters. And some of those songwriters, much like Glenn Campbell came out of the Wrecking Crew, where he was a studio musician, and he said, you know what, I think I might be able to work the front of the house too. I might be able to actually sing some of these songs for myself. But these songwriters Nashville was known as a place where popular musicians or people that are on the charts would come and just buy songs. And Kris was a songwriter before he was a performer. And apparently Ray Stevens had the most money for Sunday Morning Coming Down. And he was making it like I don't know how you could even think about trying to make that an upbeat song, but I think that's what he kind of accidentally did.
Well, he begins at the beginning, kind of humming, and it was different.
You know what was great? The guy that wrote In the Ghetto.
Mac Davis.
Well, he said he wrote it for Elvis.
Right, but that was Mac Davis.
That was not Mac Davis.
It was.
The hell?
Exactly.
It looks like him, but he didn't say his name was Mac Davis, did he?
It was Mac Davis.
Because he sounded like him, too, now that I think about it. Holy shit.
If you know Mac Davis, he had his own variety show. He was in North Dallas 40.
He was a big deal. He was a working man's Kris Kristoferson. He was Kris Kristoferson before Kris Kristoferson was Kris Kristoferson.
Wow. But yes, that was one of my notes. Mac Davis wrote In the Ghetto, which is a great tune.
Yeah, and he plays it. And you know what? As he plays it, no shit, it's right. I'm embarrassed. But did they not say his name? And did they say his name? It's such a common name that I was like, okay. Because I think I would recognize Mac Davis.
I don't know now.
But what a song. Oh, yeah. And the way, everything about this documentary, it's like a lot of the songs are country or songs that I really didn't really care for. Or not that I can appreciate every song. But it's kind of how they, like, the etymology. What's
wow.
That's not just a...
Isn't that a study of bugs?
No, it's a soybean. I think it's it's edamame. Fuck. Anyway, it's all so interesting to me. And how some people have writing teams and I mean, they literally, that's like they get up in the morning and then they start writing songs and then they end it, whatever. They probably never have it end. Like when an idea hits, you nurture that idea.
But we could delve into that, like Elton John and Bernie Taupin,
mm-hmm.
how they collaborated for so long and had so many hits and how they did it. Songwriting to me it's all magic. I couldn't do it.
Well, here's the thing. But how many songs did Elvis write that he made the top 40 with?
Oh, good question.
It's 0.
Really?
Elvis wrote no songs. I mean, he probably wrote songs, but of the ones that charted, that's different than what happens to you the day after Chili Day. I said charted with a C. No, the word of the street is that Elvis sung everybody else's songs. And a lot of his songs are standards anyway, that were recorded by other people. But, like I thought Taylor Swift, the way she sings every song, it sounds like it's her. She didn't write her own songs. She probably writes a few, but these songs, and it's the songs that you recognize. It's like the guy goes, they're like, the trailer that I'll post at the bottom of this. It's just these different people that you don't recognize, and they're saying, "Oh, I wrote that, I wrote that, I wrote that, I wrote that." He goes, "I'm the guy that wrote Jesus at the Wheel," and that's the one that really got my attention because that's the one I really. He goes, "I'm one of actually 3 people that wrote Jesus Take the Wheel," and it's like I've said dozens of times on this. You can be as talented as the day is long. If you don't have a good song, nobody wants to fucking hear you. And I guess the implication I was making then is if you can't write good songs, but I guess where do those axes meet? I don't know. It's like, you know what? I'm good, but you need to find a fledgling songwriter to meet a fledgling artist, and then you catch lightning in a bottle, and then they both just take off probably. I don't know. I'm thinking the same thing's going to happen with this fucking podcast at some point.
Got to have a little luck, too.
A little puck luck? Catch a bounce? Yeah. There's other examples of that. But this one's getting a little long in the tooth there. Yeah.
But thank you for listening. You can get a hold of us at TheAscertainers@gmail.com or the Facebook. Like us, share us with a friend. Anything else you want to add, Jim?
I think we should change the email address to refunds at TheAscertainers. And that way people will at least be interested, like, hey, you know what? I'd like my money back for the hour I just spent or 43 minutes I just spent listening to this piece of shit. And then we'll just send them a picture of your ball sack or middle finger, one or the other. They're both about this. Well, anyway.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.